Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And also check out our Patreon page. I'll put a link below. On Patreon, you're going to get the ability to get exclusive content, reviews that haven't been released yet, and also a discount code for 15% off of everything in our online web store. Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the In-Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. Today I'm going to do a new arrival video for June 26, 2020. This is all the new vinyl that has come out for the week. And it's a lot. This is the biggest, since I've started doing these videos, this is the biggest amount of stuff that has dropped. The first thing I want to talk to you about is Mobile Fidelity is releasing Trane's Drops of Jupiter. They're only doing 3,000 of them. It's never been released on vinyl. If you are a Trane fan, or you might be a Trane fan in the future and you just do not know, I would buy the record. 3,000 is a minuscule amount for Mobile Fidelity. Mobile Fidelity is a label that there's got to be 1,500 people that just collect the label. It doesn't matter if it's their early stuff of the Thunderstorms. Mobile Fidelity is a label that is heavily collected, so there's going to be 1,500 right off the top going into those collections. But this is an album that has never been done on vinyl. There's been no Brazilian reissues, nothing. So a record that I highly recommend getting. They announced it a couple of years ago, but from what I've heard from MoFi, in the next couple, 2-3 weeks, that should drop. Again, all this stuff can be purchased on our website at theingroove.com. So yeah, check it out, theingroove.com. New SACD in for Vanilla Fudge. We're still waiting on the 45 RPM. This one's numbered to 2,000. They only do 2,000 of these. You know, we carry a lot of SACDs too if you check out the website. I try to carry the complete MFSL catalog. I also do a lot of analog production stuff on there as well. We got a pretty big restock in from Pure Pleasure. Pure Pleasure is an audiophile label out of the UK that specializes in all analog stuff. Some of their stuff is fantastic. Some of it is, you know, okay. A lot of these are new titles that I have not heard. This is Stevie Ray Vaughan's Texas Flood. This is a double disc. It looks like, yeah, double disc on Pure Pleasure. This is a new title. Clifford Jordan plays Lead Belly. I actually heard a test pressing of this, and it is actually quite good. The Best of Nina Simone. Again, another Pure Pleasure title. Boz Scaggs, Silk Degrees. This is an anniversary edition or a reissue of the White Stripes Day Still. This, they've kind of redone it. They've revamped the cover. You can kind of tell this is a tip-on jacket now. So a lot heavier duty cardboard jacket. So that is new. Also, this is actually really cool. This is a great, you know, if you're into avant-garde jazz, this is a great Albert Ayler record. This is actually done by Third Man. So I have not heard how this sounds. I'm going to go home, and this will probably be one of the first records I listen to. But this is a great Albert Ayler record, and I have high hopes for the sound quality on this. But Jack White, yeah, getting into jazz on the reissue label. Sarah Plus 2, Sarah Vaughan, another Pure Pleasure release. Sarah Sings Soulfully, Pure Pleasure release. Sarah Vaughan Snowbound, Pure Pleasure. Sarah Vaughan After Hours. Some more Sarah Vaughan. Pure Pleasure does a lot of spiritual jazz, a lot of Afrocentric jazz. A lot of stuff on the Strata title label. A lot of stuff on Tribe. It's actually the jazz that I'm kind of the most into. It's the most funky, tribal, spiritual. It takes a while to kind of get there musically, but a lot of the stuff I've heard has been quite good. If you're familiar with the label Strata East, there's a Strata and there's a Strata East. A lot of the Strata East stuff is on really crummy vinyl. The sound quality is mediocre. But a lot of the Pure Pleasure releases from the Strata East catalog are actually quite good sound-wise. I've heard online people saying that they sound like needle drops, but you know, I haven't heard them all, but the few that I've listened to do not sound like needle drops. That's fine. I don't know where they got that, but I think it's a rumor. But I'm really into the spiritual stuff that they've released. Also, some of those records, you know, Phil Ranolin's Vibes from the Tribes, you know, we've got that on the website. It's like $1,000 record if you find an original. And I've got one. It's okay sounding, but they did a really good job on that record. But yeah, you know, if you're into some of the, you know, if you're into that jazz or might think you want to be, check out some of those titles, some of the Strata East stuff and some of the Tribe stuff that's released by Pure Pleasure. There's another one. This is finally a restock from my top 10 R&B and blues albums you should own. Canned Heat, John Lee Hooker, Hooker and Heat, killer record. This is a new one by Stacey Kent on Pure Pleasure. Roland Kirk on Pure Pleasure, Blackness. Here is a John Coltrane, In the Winner's Circle. This is originally on Bethlehem. God, I'm not familiar with this at all. I don't know if I've ever even heard it. The reissue are that particular Coltrane title. Great Pharoah Sanders reissue. This is a double, originally on Teresa Records. Very cool. Newer title for them. I think it came out this week. Once again, the Dave Brubeck 45 RPM. This has been very difficult to keep in stock, guys, but I've got a slew more of them. This is the version of this album to own. Lonnie Smith, Visions of a New World. Great record, originally on the Flying Dutchman label, done by Pure Pleasure. This is a, I was playing this in the store, and you know, it had a couple of guys laughing, but there's kind of some like scatting in it. But yeah, let's see. The vocal projection of the lyrics is good and full. Yeah, it's an interesting album. Again, if you're into the avant-garde jazz. Eddie Harris, The In Sound. Good record. I've not heard this particular version. I think this is one of their newest releases. Cal Macy, Blues to Coltrane, Pure Pleasure. Muddy Waters, I'm Ready. Let's see, Cab Calloway. This is another, there's a Strata East label. Phenomenal label, guys. Next to impossible, see if you can see it. Next to impossible to find anything Strata. Maybe once every couple of years something will roll in from Strata. But Charles Tolliver. I showed these last week. The 25th anniversary, excuse me, the Blue Note 80th anniversary, $24.99. These were three titles that I got a few of last week. The Larry Young, Andrew Hill, and Kenny Dorma. Great records, all analog, cut by Kevin Gray, phenomenal sounding records, worth every bit of $25. You know, finding audiophile records for $25, I mean, good luck, guys. But I only got a few of these in last week, but I'm fully restocked on those. This is weird. I saw this, I couldn't resist. It's an Arcade Fire Polish version. So instead of Everything Now, it is, yeah, whatever that says. All right. Some more broadcast, Rush 21, 12 in concert. Another Pearl Jam broadcast, live at the Fox Theater in Atlanta in 1994. Alice in Chains, this is live at the Palladium. I'm trying to see what year this is. Unfortunately, I covered it. There's a set list. Westwood 1, this is an FM broadcast. The Misfits, We Were 138 What is this? San Francisco 81 plus live in Detroit 83. FM broadcast. And a TV public access show. Combination of the two. These are pretty cool. Got some Pink Floyd BBC sessions. We got 1967 and 1969. I think these were limited to maybe 500 if I read this correctly. This one is at, they look like they're at 45 RPM. Yeah. All right. Finally, the Rolling Stones reissues, the later stuff in the catalog is starting to come out. This is actually their newest song, Living in a Ghost Town. This comes on orange vinyl. This is actually quite good if you haven't heard it. And quite fortuitous of them. It kind of seemed, they released it kind of during the height of the virus. And lyrically, it kind of matched real well with it. I've got some more of the indie exclusives of Neil Young's Homegrown. Price has gone up a few dollars more. I had to import these from Europe. They imported them from the US and I brought them back in. This is the only place in the entire country, dealer or distributor, that I was able to get these from. This is sold out. They're already going, and I got them for $28.99. When I looked, they were going on eBay for 40 to 50 bucks. I got a few more of them, but you know, that'll be it. And then we'll get into that. This is the indie exclusive with the, there's an insert, a litho, or what do they call it here? Album cover print. So it includes the print, but after those are gone, we'll be into the standard version. Finally, some of these, like I said, some of these Rolling Stones reissues. Some of these later albums are getting hard to find. 10 years ago, you'd find Tattoo You for $2, $3. Now, I mean, it's a hard record to find, and these are going for $15, $20, you know, for an original. And they're typically, you know, they're hard to find near mint. Not like the old days, man. You used to find these in shrink all day long. Every record store had Tattoo You. They had Dirty, you know, they had all these Stones albums. But in Arizona, anyways, they're getting harder to find. These are all half-speed mastered. I'm not 100, I think these were done. I'm not 100% sure where these were done. Half-speed mastered, but looks like they're pressed in the Netherlands. But I'm going to probably give a listen to Voodoo Lounge, believe it or not. I've got an original of it, and it's not, it never was the best sounding record. It was kind of compressed, and I'm curious to what that sounds like. Bridges to Babylon. Upwards of a $200 album before they announced the reissue of this. But it's nice to actually finally get some of this 90s stuff in print. I actually seen them on the tour at my first time ever seeing the Stones. I've seen them like 10 times. But the first time ever seeing the Stones was on the No Security tour, which was right after this. But they were essentially still touring, you know, all the stuff from that album. Some Girls, Half Speed, No Die Cut Faces, Voodoo Lounge, one of my favorite later Stones records. But again, this is a record pushing $200 right before they announced the reissue. Steel Wheels, another hard Rolling Stones album to find. You know, originally came out right at the tail end of the vinyl era. So, Half Speed, back in print. Sticky Fingers, probably my favorite Rolling Stones song of all time is on this. Can't You Hear Me Knocking? New Half Speed, Exile on Main Street. You know, they did a half speed at Abbey Road on this. I'm not exactly 100% sure the differences between this and that. Finally got some reissues in. Kurgerbin. This is on pink vinyl, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Limited edition on translucent pink vinyl. This is the Indie Store exclusive. Into the camera. Okay. This is probably going to be one of the hottest titles of the year on vinyl. I've gotten asked about this in store anyways. A whole bunch. The new Post Malone, Hollywood's Bleeding. This is the version that I believe was slated for Record Store Day. If I'm not mistaken, this is on pink vinyl. This was slated for Record Store Day and then pulled. one of the casualties of Record Store Day. Vandergraaf Generator. This is a Music on Vinyl live concert. This is number 2, 1000 on purple vinyl. It looks like it's a triple. But yeah, a little later. I'm trying to see what year this concert is. It's got a maybe 2005. It's got a copyright date on the back of 2005. This just came out this week. New ham. This, I believe, let's see, includes digital download. All right. This is another Record Store Day casualty. Blaze Foley out of Austin, Texas. You can see it still has the Record Store Day 2020 sticker on it. Limited release. First time on vinyl. Includes a reproduction of a 45, Rare Zephyr Records 45 RPM. Live at the Austin Outhouse. New Ray LaMontagne. This is recorded in Monovision. Monovision. Not Stereovision, not Wonka Vision, but Monovision, yeah. This is actually cool looking. You know, a lot of these picture discs look to me just cheaply done. This, they included the poster. It's got a nice plastic inner. It's got a printed back, you could see, but yeah, David Bowie's Space Oddity. It looks actually really well made for a picture disc. I was actually shocked when I saw this. But yeah, poster enclosed. They did a run of Turtles. Pretty much all the early Turtle stuff. And it looks like they're all doubles. Every album has, looks like the stereo release, maybe the mono releases and bonus tracks. It looks like it varies from record to record. I didn't look too close, but yeah, it looks like, yeah, the track lists follow for record 1 and 2 of Happy Together. So I'm guessing you're getting the mono and you're getting the stereo. But yeah, I got, you know, all of these are in for you Turtle fans. Wooden Head, not an album you really ever see. Best of the Bee Gees. We saw a lot of Bee Gees. This is a, it doesn't matter what era of the Bee Gees. The Bee Gees still sell extremely well on vinyl, but yeah. Gray Days. Chester Bennington. This is cool. This has got a little Arizona connection. The Lost Music of Chester Bennington. Let's see. This is the deluxe version. Looks like it's going to have a book, vinyl. Looks really well done. Look at the size of that book in there. So yeah. Cool. Has the Phoenix connection. Sonic the Hedgehog. Soundtrack with the new Sonic, which they revamped because they didn't like the, you know, there was outrage over the original. I remember the, you know, movie looks pretty horrible, but yeah, I remember playing a lot of, wasting a lot of weeks playing Sonic the Hedgehog on Genesis. This comes on ring-colored vinyl. One of my favorite games. Soundtrack to High Fidelity. Soundtrack looks really good. I've had a very difficult time getting through this. This is a Hulu exclusive TV show. You know, I love the original movie. Yeah, this is kind of hard to watch. Although, you know, as a record store owner, you should want to watch this as a TV show, but not my favorite. Let's put it that way. The Bigger Bang, the Rolling Stones. I've probably listened to this album more than any Rolling Stones album ever made. Now, why do you ask? I had a Chevy S10 back when this album came out, and the CD broke inside of the dashboard. So this was it didn't it just wouldn't eject. The eject button broke. So every time I was driving around, you know, this was before really iPods or MP3s were too mainstream, integration into the car anyways. But yeah, every time the news would come on, I'd be like, put on the Rolling Stones. So man, I probably have 500 listens on this. And so for me, it's a great album. Even after hearing it so many times, I saw them tour. At this tour, I had front row tickets at the Phoenix show. Then I flew out to Dodger Stadium, and I had tickets to them on the stage. I think that was that particular tour where they were selling. They had the scaff. I think it was this tour. It might have been the tour after that, but yeah, I'm almost positive that was 2006. Yeah, here, and then the next week getting out to Dodger Stadium. But I'm not saying this is my favorite Rolling Stones album, but this is the Bigger Bang. This is the Bigger Bang. This is the album I have listened to by far and away the most. I even like Keith's songs on this, although I like Keith's songs on all these albums. I'm a huge Rolling Stones fan, by the way. I love all era of Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones don't make bad albums. It is an absolute shame that they refuse to make new music because they feel that the fans only want to hear the old stuff. But that is Bupkis. I don't dislike any albums. I love their disco albums. I love all Rolling Stones albums. They need to put out some new music. In an era where there's a lot of music that is mediocre coming out by the legacy artists. You know, that last Who album, as much as I love The Who and, you know, Pete Townsend is a musical god, that Who album, after that first track, was so hard to get through. It was so difficult. But I've never had that experience with the Rolling Stones. Everything they've ever put out to me is fantastic. But yeah, all of this stuff available on the website, guys. Don't forget to check us out and subscribe. Until next time.